Wow. I don't even. Just wow. How does one even describe just how fantastic Parental Glideance turned out? We've been waiting several years to see Rainbow Dash's family, and on the 150th episode in the entire series, the MLP staff have finally delivered. And boy, did they deliver! I heard about this coming episode several weeks back, and while I was certainly looking forward to the introduction of Rainbow's parents, I was a little concerned as to whether the writers could come up with something really worth all the wait. I had this huge grin on my face throughout the entire viewing. No joke. The new characters are both fun and interesting. Rainbow's motivations for keeping secrets from them was both understandable and relatable. And the inclusion of Scootaloo right from the start was genius. The entire story is just... it's just so good! First, Scootaloo literally launching herself into the clouds right after admitting that, yeah, there probably are some better options for getting to Cloudsdale, leading right into the first twist of the story. Our initial impression of Bow Hot Hoof and Windy Whistle suggests that they might be getting overwhelmed by Scootaloo's overly excitable nature, but nope, if anything, they're even more excitable than Scootaloo. We might have thought that Rainbow would be telling her parents all about her achievements because she certainly enjoyed being in the spotlight during past episodes, but nope, turns out this is actually the main source of conflict in the entire story. Even halfway through the episode, I was still trying to figure out how everything was going to end. Whether Rainbow would be teaching her parents about why their behavior is embarrassing, or even giving Scootaloo a new perspective on all the times she's gone overboard with her own fangirling. And while, yes, those elements are addressed, the main point was actually about how lucky Rainbow is that she's had so much support since day one. And the fact that it's Scootaloo who is teaching that lesson? Genius. Absolute genius. Over the years, MLP has sometimes alluded to, yet never confirmed, that Scootaloo has had a pretty lonely upbringing. We've never seen her family, and her zealous dedication to praising Rainbow Dash and following in her example has become all the more interesting when you consider the idea that maybe Scootaloo never had anyone in her family support her the way she needed growing up. Even here in Parental Glideance, it's never made clear that this might be the case, but the subtle hints have been especially poignant and so very relevant to the central conflict introduced here. Particularly with how everything comes together in the end, where Rainbow gains a newfound appreciation for her upbringing, and now even including her parents in supporting Scootaloo's efforts. Of course, there are times when exuberant cheering and constant encouragement can go too far. We saw that lesson play out last season during Top Bolt. But I very much appreciate the MLP staff exploring the other side of that argument, and in such a memorable and heartwarming way. To be honest, I couldn't help but chuckle every time Bo and Windy were going all out with their support. I found it both adorable and admirable, while at the same time completely sympathizing with Rainbow's constant embarrassment. Now, admittedly, this may be the episode's only real flaw. It wouldn't surprise me that for some people, this overzealous encouragement on the part of Rainbow's parents could just come off as annoying instead of entertaining. It didn't for me, but if you're really not into such characters, then I can understand why this story wouldn't leave quite as much of an impact. But even if that is the case, you can't deny that the writers and animators still had a lot of fun showing just how far they could go with their nurturing. I'm sure we've all had loved ones who saved some token of our childhood that really doesn't mean anything to us, but truly means the world to them. Plus, that background choir music coming on every time you open a door to a trophy room? That's both unexpected and clever. In the end, I can't think of anything really wrong with Parental Glideance. I can understand a few nitpicks with character portrayal, but it's far outweighed by a wonderful setup, conflict, and conclusion that you'd swear the writers had in mind right from the beginning, considering the relationship between Scootaloo and Rainbow Dash up to this point. It's a gem of an episode that I have no doubt I'll be coming back to many times in the future. But what do you think? We've been waiting to see Rainbow's family for several years now, so how well did the end result meet with your expectations? Do you believe the subtle hints about Scootaloo's family life are the best way to represent her backstory? Or would it be better to show everything at the forefront in a future episode? I would like to hear your thoughts on Parental Glideance. And I, for one, can't help but praise MLP for a story that entertains you as a child and yet becomes all the more deep every time you watch it growing up. I am Dr. Wolf, and I look forward to hearing from you.